goodness. Oh my goodness. Let me know if you can hear me.
They want more. Crime babies looking for food. Starvation, the recipe. People subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day in every clue. Don't let it go. It's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to.
All right, so check out the news, y'all. I hope y'all can hear me. I'm on the run right now, but listen, check this out. The play is in. This is all real, y'all. This is all real. Donald Trump has always been at the center of the Epstein scandal. And these rich folks have known it. These wealthy people, they've known it. Many people have known it. But many people covered it up to be able to use him. And many people have used him. And since he became the president, they've been able to use the American people, the United States government. Yes, they have. But now it's about to come out. And here's the thing. Trump is making one last play because he is going to offer Ghislaine Maxwell a pardon for running defense in a congressional hearing. You heard me right. She is going to offer Trump is going to offer her a pardon to run defense in a congressional hearing. That's the latest news. And check it out. They're not going to tell you that she's going to run defense, but that's obviously what it is, because she doesn't need Congress to get her out of this. She needs Trump to get her ass out of jail. It's just plain to see. And Trump is never going to let her out of jail without making a deal first. And that deal is appear in Congress, run defense, and I'll give you the pardon. That's exactly what she's going to do. Watch. Let me know if you can hear me.
Hi, I'm Diane Macedo. We have breaking news. An Oversight Committee just approved a motion to subpoena Ghislaine Maxwell to testify before Congress. It comes as Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche says he expects to meet with Maxwell in the coming
What's
days.
up, Donnie? Peace.
Maxwell was convicted of conspiring with and aiding Jeffrey Epstein in his sexual abuse of underage girls and is currently in prison. ABC News Justice Department reporter Alex Mallon has more. So we also have Jay O'Brien on Capitol Hill following this for us. So, Jay, I want to start with you since this just happened. What's the latest there, and what are lawmakers really calling for here?
Yeah, this motion to subpoena Ghislaine Maxwell was approved in a subcommittee of the House Oversight Committee. It was brought forward by Tim Burchett, and it got the Republicans on that panel's support. And so now it advances to Chairman James Comer, who's the chair of the overall House Oversight Committee. It tries to force Comer to subpoena Ghislaine Maxwell, but ultimately it looks like the decision will still rest with James Comer as to whether or not he wants to go along with this motion that was approved in, again, that subcommittee of his broader House Oversight Committee. But it comes as Jeffrey Epstein from beyond the grave is really tying up the processes of the House of Representatives here. The House Rules Committee, which is a crucial final stop on legislation before it heads to the House floor, canceled their meeting last night, and they're not going to meet for the rest of the week because Republicans on that panel didn't want to have to take tough votes that Democrats were bringing forward on an Epstein-related amendment that would release the DOJ records on this case and on Jeffrey Epstein in general, because that would be a difficult vote for Republicans on that panel.
And it's also going to be a difficult pill to swallow for them, because that's exactly what the Republicans don't want, because they don't want you to know they've been actively covering up for a pedophile ring that has been extorting the United States government through, we're talking about elitists here. We're talking about the wealthy. the richest of the rich in the country. They used that man as a pawn. They knew damn well what they were doing. They knew damn well what they were doing. And now it's basically the final play. This is pathetic because, again, nobody asked for a congressional hearing. That's not what Donald Trump promised. That's not what MAGA ran on. And you know damn well that this is a cover up. This is his last shot at not having this stuff come out. But here's the thing. The only people that they're keeping the files from and the information from is the American people. They're not keeping it from the wealthy people. They're not keeping it from the espionage spies that already got that information. They're not keeping it from anyone else except the everyday American taxpayer who pays 70%, over 70% of the federal budget, the government's operational costs. That's what this is about. And when the people find out that their backs have been broken day and day and day over these kind of folks, people are going to lose it. Hear me and hear me well. Donald Trump offered Ghislaine Maxwell a pardon if she would appear in a congressional hearing to run defense for them all. That's what this is about, being phony. Because again, you could just release it. You could just release it. And Biden already released, he already allowed journalists to look at a lot of this stuff. You see? So even he did more to get stuff out to the public. We wouldn't even have the little tidbits that we had if it wasn't for him doing that, letting journalists look at it. But the Republicans don't want you to look at nothing. They're not going to admit nothing. But the truth is, it's always been right in your face. This man is not the head, but he's one who's been involved in getting exploited and making dirty deals, espionage deals. They've been letting him run around with little girls all this time to hold him, to control him, to use him against the American people. That's what's going on. And American people pay for it. The wealthy people know that's what happened, and they got their tax cut. Nobody else got nothing. If you're not the wealthy, you didn't get shit. If you're not Putin, you didn't get shit. If you're not China, you didn't get shit. If you're the everyday American people, all you did was flip the bill for everybody else. And now the Congress is going to take your money and use it to do one more action to try to cover up some files, Epstein files, which are actually the United States people's own property. They don't have a right to cover it up. Let it play some more, and I'll be back with y'all. Trust me, when I come back on the live in the morning, it's going to be some few hours.
They would either have to vote against the president's wishes.
It's going to be a few hours. Sorry. Hold on. When I come back in the morning, it's going to be a banger. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to have my camera straight, and we're going to get into this real. I'm telling you, I broke the story. The story is Trump is going to give Ghislaine Maxwell a pardon to get her to come into a congressional hearing to run defense for all of the pedo elite. That's what's going to happen. I'll see y'all in a minute. I'm going to let this play out.
Hi, I'm Diane Macedo. We have breaking news. An Oversight Committee just approved a motion to subpoena Ghislaine Maxwell to testify before Congress. It comes as Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche says he expects to meet with Maxwell in the coming days. Maxwell was convicted of conspiring with and aiding Jeffrey Epstein in his sexual abuse of underage girls and is currently in prison. ABC News Justice Department reporter Alex Malin has more. So we also have Jay O'Brien on Capitol Hill following this for us. So Jay, I want to start with you since this just happened. What's the latest there, and what are lawmakers really calling for here?
Yeah, this motion to subpoena Ghislaine Maxwell was approved in a subcommittee of the House Oversight Committee. It was brought forward by Tim Burchett, and it got the Republicans on that panel's support. And so now it advances to Chairman James Comer, who's the chair of the overall House Oversight Committee. It tries to force Comer to subpoena Ghislaine Maxwell, but ultimately it looks like the decision will still rest with James Comer as to whether or not he wants to go along with this motion that was approved in, again, that subcommittee of his broader House Oversight Committee. But it comes as Jeffrey Epstein from beyond the grave is really tying up the processes of the House of Representatives here. The House Rules Committee, which is a crucial final stop on legislation before it heads to the House floor, had to cancel their meeting last night, and they're not going to meet for the rest of the week because Republicans on that panel didn't want to have to take tough votes that Democrats were bringing forward on an Epstein-related amendment that would release the DOJ records on this case and on Jeffrey Epstein in general, because that would be a difficult vote for Republicans on that panel. They would either have to vote against the president's wishes, who's made it clear he wants Republicans to move on from this, or they would have to go along with that support that they're getting from their base, or that push rather they're getting from their base, because there's a number in the GOP base who have said they want things done on this more quickly. I've also spoken with some Republicans who have said, look, they're not going to forget about this and they're not going to move on. Thomas Massie has said he's going to continue to work with Democrats and a handful of Republicans on legislation that would force the release of Epstein-related records that the Department of Justice has. The earliest that he could probably force that vote to release those records would be after Congress goes out on recess in August. I asked him, is the president at risk of losing support with his base over this issue? And he said he believes that the president is eroding support with his base because he has been signaling he wants both the base and GOP lawmakers to move on from this Epstein matter. And all of this drama is even making it all the way to Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, who just moments ago in a press conference said that he supports releasing Epstein documents. He has said that before, but he also said he wants it to happen within reason, with respect for the identities of victims, etc., quote, very quickly, Diane. So this Epstein drama is not going away.
It sure doesn't seem so. So, Alex, what's Blanche hoping to accomplish with his meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell?
Yeah, I mean, Diane, this is just the latest unusual turn in how the department is handling the fallout over its decision not to release any more Epstein files. I mean, I've never even heard of the idea of a deputy attorney general going to visit a convicted sex trafficker in prison to potentially discuss what information she might have more than what the department already has in its holdings. And also making this all the more unusual is that Todd Blanche previously served as President Trump's personal defense attorney, and the outrage obviously from Democrats over this whole handling of the Epstein files and the withholding of them is that they accuse the administration of potentially covering up President Trump's personal relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. So the fact that the Deputy Attorney General is now stepping in, given all this vocal attention being put towards this by Congress, including House Republicans and Senate Republicans, and that they're going to try and now step into this process of potentially getting Ghislaine Maxwell to talk on the record about what she knew about Epstein and potential other co-conspirators or associates that she may be able to implicate. I mean, the difference here is that this meeting that Todd Blanche is trying to arrange will be behind closed doors, potentially in the Federal Correctional Institution where she's staying in Tallahassee, Florida. The difference with congressional testimony would be that would be out in the public for all of Americans to hear what she has to say. And obviously, Ghislaine Maxwell has a real incentive to try and tell this administration what it wants to hear here versus, what the public might have just an interest in knowing, because the Justice Department controls whether she continues to serve out a 20-year prison sentence in connection with the heinous crimes that she was convicted for.
And Alex, what's the latest on the request for the grand jury testimony in the Epstein case?
Yeah, so the Justice Department on Friday submitted motions in Florida and New York to judges trying to basically unseal more records that were tied to investigations both into Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. We're still waiting word from those judges. We expect this to be kind of a long slog of a process. This is not a typical, request by the Justice Department to unseal these things. There's going to be judges who are, potentially skeptical of the administration's reasoning here. It's a truly extraordinary step to take to say that these grand jury proceedings, which are largely private and protected material, need to be released just because of the widespread interest of the public. I mean, there's widespread interest of the public in numerous criminal cases. So what makes this one especially different, other than the fact that it has become such a headache for the Justice Department and this White House?
All right, Jay O'Brien, Alex Mallon, thank you both.
My next guest, as promised, is Maria Farmer, who says Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell sexually assaulted her. So she says she saw Trump at Epstein's office late at night in 1995. At the time, she was 25 years old. Epstein had just hired Farmer, who was an artist, to help him acquire art. Now, Farmer urged the FBI to look at Trump's connections to Epstein twice, in 1996 and again in 2006. Which, of course, means Trump's name could very well be in those government files that the administration is refusing to release. Maria Farmer is now suing the government to try to get the unredacted files about the allegations she brought forward about Epstein. Now, President Trump has not been the target of any investigation related to Epstein, nor has he been accused of any criminal wrongdoing in this case. Maria Farmer is out front now for her first television interview, sharing her story. since filing her lawsuit, and she is joined by her attorney, Jennifer Freeman. So thanks very much to both of you. And Maria, I want to give everyone a chance to understand exactly what happened here. I mean, you said that Jeffrey Epstein calls you to come to his office, and you go, and then you're sitting there waiting, and Donald Trump walks in. What happened?
Yes. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for having me on, Aaron. I really appreciate it, because I need to say up front that I've waited 3 decades to be able to even be heard about this, because the government has not held any of the reported accountable. And so basically the night before I went in, he called me at very late in the evening and asked me to come up to the Helmsley Palace offices. And I didn't even have money for a subway token. It's kind of embarrassing. So I had to go running up there. And so I told Epstein, I'll be up there. It'll probably take me until like 9. He's like, okay. And I'm waiting. It's dark. Like there's no light on in the offices. And I thought that was really weird. So I'm seated against the wall in the main part of the office.